What's going on, man? It's your boy Poet Q here. It's been a while, man, but we're here with an interview with the one and only. If you don't mind introducing yourself for me, man.
She writes Kiran The Nomad from London, England, by way of California. 4 years in music. Just happy to be here. I appreciate you, bro.
No, for sure. So I wasn't tripping. I thought that you were from London, but I wasn't sure because I had some
No, you
questions.
good.
I wanted to make sure, you know what I'm saying?
You good. You good. Yeah. Born
I
and
want to
raised.
I want to start off by giving you your flowers, you know what I'm saying? Nights Before Party Vol.2, phenomenal project. I really think that it's a really dope project. I wanted to let you know first and foremost, you know what I'm saying, because we haven't really spoke since I think the night that we met initially. And I think that it's really big on giving artists their flowers now, especially independent artists, because I know it's a lot harder to receive your flowers early on, just because just the grind that it takes to even get there. But with that being said, I kind of want to get straight into these questions. So are you ready, my man?
Let's get it, bro. Let's talk.
All right. So the first set of questions I'm going to ask you are all artistry questions, kind of just about like the way you craft music and just about the way you make music. So with that being said, the first question I have is, do you come up with the chorus and have the vocalist sing it, or do you give them the gist of the song and let them create for themselves?
The short answer is it depends on the song, but yeah, it just depends on the song. But like, I like to give anyone I'm working with creative freedom to do whatever they want to do. So like, I'll never write anything for people. I haven't done that yet, at least, except for a song called What You See, which is, I wrote the entire song. I wrote that song in maybe like 15 minutes. So I just gave the hook to a friend to sing because I knew it would sound better with his voice on there. Yeah, anything else you hear, any collaborations, I usually I'll give people beats and then I'll tell them the idea or I'll show them the song, but I really don't try and limit artists just because I know like I don't want to limit anyone's creativity. So
I'm gonna circle back around to What You See, because time out. You said you wrote it in 15 minutes?
Yes, sir. It was the shortest song on the album, the easiest song to write. And long story short, my producer made the beat. He was finna take it to these sessions that we were having. And I was like, yeah, that beat's not gonna that beat's not gonna make it there, bro. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nah, bro. You can keep that one for me, bro. Just keep
that. And then I wrote that song hella quick because I knew if I didn't, he was gonna, so I had to.
No, it makes sense, man. Damn, that's crazy because the question I have for you for that later is it's gonna be funny. We're gonna circle back to that one though. But, do you write your lyrics first, or do you hear the beat do you feel like you have to hear the beat first?
I'm going to lean way more towards the second answer. I don't want to feel like I have to do anything, but with this specifically, kind of, yeah, I'm not weirded out, but I'm confused by people who are just able to like write lyrics and then like just put it's always confused me, only because I'm a music first person. So I'm big on the energy, the vibe. Like I fill out the beat for color, for feelings, for emotions, and then write based on that. So all my writing is usually based on the beat first, and I hear it. And sometimes I'll sit with beats for months, even years, if I have to,
right,
just to get the feeling or the emotion that I need to.
See, and I'm kind of like you. Like when I write music, I don't like. I have to connect with the beat before I can even think of anything to write. But I have met people who are like, nah, man. Like I count my bars and then like I try to match a beat with it. And I'm like, that is absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it. I really respect it. I just, not that I can't do it. It's just for me. I mean, the way I've always been raised to look at it and how I view it is making music isn't so much about the lyrics. I know the lyrics are powerful and words have meanings, but that's not why people listen to music. I mean, and artists don't necessarily like to hear that, but I mean, people are checking for beats and for sounds and for feelings. So for me, initially, like I don't even want to write anything if an initial feeling or an initial vibe isn't there. So you know what I'm saying? So I try and keep it on. I try and write to the music if I can help it.
No, it makes sense. All right. So another question that I had for you is this is a two-part question. What was the thought going into this project, and how does it tie into the project before? Because this is a sequel. So how does it tie into the project before?
It's a complicated question. We weren't planning on making a sequel at first. It was just going to be a prelude to a bigger album I'm working on. It's called Party, and it's not coming out anytime soon, but I've been working on it for about 2 years. So this was all, I knew that album that I'm working on is really, really big and really commercial. So before I can get to a point where that can come out. I needed to get to a certain level of my artistry and music. So that's what this series is about. It was really just kind of like showing, the first volume was us showing the world we can make music, and kind of just figuring out what the fuck we were doing. So we didn't necessarily like expect for it to like do any crazy numbers or anything like that. This second installment was, okay, we found the sound and what we're going to do. Now we're just like, you know, packaging it and learning how to market and give it to people. So we're still fine tuning, believe it or not. This isn't, I haven't arrived yet by any means. None of this is like the best rapping or the best music. We're still just figuring it out and enjoying the process of figuring it out. So It's cool to have a transparent kind of like music experience where people can see the growth and see what it's going to. But yeah, man, I got big plans for it. So this kind of just came about because we knew we still got work to do. Even now, as I'm looking like kind of back on the album, there's still work to do. So there's some more stuff I want to do before I get to that party level. So
right. I think it's really dope that you're real transparent about like the goal of the project, as far as, you know, saying like this is just us trying to make sure like we got everything right before we start really getting into our bag. Because, you know, a lot of times like some artists, like, you know, they just put shit out and they kind of just, you know what I'm saying, like let it be for what it is, you know. And a lot of times they think that like, okay, this, I'm giving the best version of myself. But I like to see that, you know, that you're doing the groundwork in order to get to that stage where it feels like, okay, now I can, you know what I'm saying, I can do this. Because to me, like, I didn't like, you hear about artists like, oh, I'm taking some years for this project, or, you know, I'm taking time for this project. But I always felt like, especially now more than anything, especially with the microwave era, like people just put music out, like get done tonight, you know what I'm saying, mix and master it tonight, you know what I'm saying, and then I put it out tomorrow, you know what I'm saying, like, but
yeah.
You rarely find artists who kind of, well, nowadays, who take time and kind of like allow their music to like grow with them as well, and then they put it out, like who have a whole idea for their project, you know what I'm saying?
For
So
sure.
that's really fucking dope.
Appreciate you, bro.
You have a lot of features on the project, a lot of these artists who I really enjoy, but most importantly, I wonder what went into the selection of who you wanted for the project.
That's a good question. I work with people I fuck with. That's the simplest way to answer that. So for as many people that are on the project, there are a lot of people who said no, and a lot of people who, I mean, I don't hold it personal, you know what I'm saying? It's the industry. But yeah, so for everyone who did say yes, I was privileged and I was happy. And a lot of these people I was able to end up meeting this year. I don't think, outside of what you see, because that's my homeboy, I don't think we did any songs in person. So no collabs were done in studio together. Everything was like back and forth kind of thing. But I was able to meet everybody and kind of like touch base with everybody and get to know people outside of just working together on a song type thing. So all of these collabs are genuine, and you know, people I have their numbers, I'm cool with them. And I pride myself on that just because, I mean, I know how shiesty the music industry is. And a lot of collabs I see are very, what's the word for it? They're very, I don't know. It's a thing where people, I can see why the collab is done and it's not genuine.
Like
it's more
disingenuous.
Yeah, it's more like, okay, well, this person's a big artist, so let me, you know what I'm saying? They don't really know the clip at all. So I don't really want to fall into that trap. I know you can't necessarily like know everybody that well, but I try and be familiar with who I'm working with. Just it just makes for better music for me. And then if I have any issues, or if they have any issues, the comfort level is there to be able to share and be like, okay, we can fix this, we can change that. So yeah, I just appreciate everybody I was working with. There's 18 plus features on the album. There's only like I think 12 or 13 listed. So there was a lot of people involved, and everyone kind of came together to make it special. So
no, I mean, honestly, bro, like it's crazy because I'm listening to the project. I think honestly at this point, I don't know how many times I've listened to it. I've listened to it a lot, like all the way through.
Appreciate you.
A lot of the features, I'm like, holy shit, like y'all bodying this, you know what I'm saying? Like, and for this to me, like listening to some of the things that you've said thus far, and what I've felt, you know what I'm saying? I told you that right after I listened to it, I was like, okay, this could be a top 5 project, you know what I'm saying, this year to me, you know what I'm saying, especially in the underground scene. But I feel like the features, not and like stepping away from just you as an artist, you know what I'm saying, like the ear to have, like, I want these artists on here, and then them excelling like crazy on there, and then to know to put them like, hey, you need to be on this beat, you know what I'm saying, like you should be on this one, you know, you got to really know music and know artists in order to put them in that order. I didn't write this question down, but like, do you feel like at any point you like might want to get into like executive producing or like for other artists or anything like that?
I'm dabbling. It's not something I necessarily like. I'm not sure. Let me not say never. I'm dabbling right now. I'm mixing for a lot of people in the background in private. I'm doing a lot of beat production stuff, which we can talk about later because I did a lot of the beat stuff on this album as well as far as patterning. But so I'm doing stuff in the shadows right now. Just like I said, same kind of thing until I get my grounding. I'm very, very aware of how good my ear is. It's not something I take for granted at all. And my producer as well, Diego. So it's not something we take for granted. And I know a lot of people don't necessarily kind of like feel the same way about working with as many people, but for me, I've always stood by this: life is short. You could go at any point. So I want to work with as many people as possible. I don't want it to be a situation where something happens to me, like I've only worked with X, Y, and Z, or there's beef here. So, you know what I'm saying? I want it to be, I worked with as many people. I had fun doing music. I enjoyed my time. So yeah, these features, bro, it was just natural. It was organic. That's why they kind of shined the way they did, is because people wanted to be on the songs. It wasn't like, can you do this for me? It was more like, no, come party. That's really how I asked people. It's like, hey, you want to party? So it was good to have everyone.
That's cool.
Really appreciative of everyone who's on there.
No, for sure. I think that's really dope. You know what I'm saying, especially, you know what I'm saying, because people see. I mean, to be truthful, a lot of people, you know, it's not that they try to take advantage of other people. I mean, they do, but like when someone really fucks with you and they want to give you the best version of themselves, you know what I'm saying, it makes everything a lot more easier because it's like, hey, I know that you're the captain of this ship and I'm going to rock with you wherever you decide to take this, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to put my best foot forward. And throughout the project, the entirety of the project, I feel like every person who had a feature gave that shit their all, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like as from a listening standpoint, like these are some of like my favorite verses this year, you know, coming from some of these artists. So that's really dope to hear. All right. Me and you kind of talked about this in Hip Hop Lounge a little bit. When me and Armani was giving you like this like interview, I guess, kind of like in a way. But I wanted to ask again, just for the sake of recording, because I was kind of mind blown by it, and I'm sure other people will be mind blown by it as well. So about how many songs do you believe were recorded before you reached the completion of Nights Before Party Vol.2?
You mean for the project, or what do you mean?
Like we made this X amount of songs, but only, you know, obviously the songs that made it. How many songs didn't make the playlist?
Yeah, I really, I don't think it's that crazy, but I mean, it's an effort level, bro. So me and my producer, Diego, we had unintentionally agreed on 100 songs, no less, before anything. This was 2020. If I'm remembering correctly. So there was a lot going on that year. And this is also the year we made the party album. So yeah, I don't know how to explain it, anything else, but what that does for you, it's like working out or push-ups or
right.
Anything. Like the first song is going to be, I mean, it's not this bad, but it's just like, okay, cool. By song 70, you have the formula. By song 90, you have one or two hits and you're sitting on a couple like really good songs, and you know how use it by. So obviously we made way more than that now. I didn't go into that 100 songs thinking I'm going to make a project or this and that. Songs just came out of it that were project worthy. So I never predetermined. I don't do that. So to this day, I'll never write for a project or for something unless I have to, unless someone's asked me to do something. I'll always just write, just make music. And then if I can hear it and I'll be like, okay, this is a single, or this is an album cut, or this is a good song, but I'll wait on this, or I thought I was an R&B singer, but I'm not. So let me hold this on. Or I thought this was a bar, but I didn't say it right. So, you know what I'm saying? So just being able to identify out of the 100, 200, 300 songs I have now, what people would like, what I would like, and a happy medium between it all. So that only comes with reps and time.
So I didn't write this question I'm about to ask either, but now that you said it this way, and so do you feel like at any point there might be a chance that you do something like what Kendrick did, where he Untitled Unmastered, where he just drops a bunch of throwaways?
My team, I don't have a big team, but it's a small team. My execs are suggesting I do that strongly. They have access to. I have a bit. Of course, I'm an artist. I have a bunch of different folders, but I keep everything on Google Drive. Mm-hmm. So I have a shared folder of my like 2021, 2022 singles that didn't get dropped. So quite a few in there. So they want me to just release, like mix it down and just release the whole folder as like Lucy. So I'm thinking about it. I know how like I'm really precious about my art. So I don't know yet. I'm gonna have to see. There's some really, really good songs in there. There's also songs I don't think that are that good at all. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to see.
Yeah, I was about to ask you, man.
It's something for sure.
For sure. All right. So another question that I have, and this is probably gonna be the last question before I start asking questions about the. No, I got two more. All right.
You good? Take your time.
You have a lot of. Oh, I already asked that question. I'm dumb as fuck. All right. So, all right. The Nomad. I know that you travel a lot. Do you believe that it plays a big role in how you make music, or the styles that make up your artistic DNA?
Yes. The short answer is yes. I think it has everything to do with, I mean, everyone's music, but my music specifically, just because, I mean, it's not even a brand, it's the name. It's like the life that I've just been living ever since I've been in America. So just a lot of traveling, a lot of, this is the first I'm interviewing you from my first own place in a long, long time. I've had my own place before, but not long. Excuse me. Hold on.
There you go.
Can you?
I can see you. I can see you.
Yeah, someone called me. So yeah, just and I say that to say just coming into my own and always traveling and always like being around different places and different things. It's good and bad. I'm not going to complain or brag about it. I don't think it makes me better or worse than anybody. It's just the reality of what I was doing. So growing up, it gave you a lot of identity issues just because, well, the best way I can say, you adapt to everything. So because I'm moving to the East Coast, West Coast, South, North, you're able to adapt to different cultures and different environments and different situations. What that does is it takes your self-sense of identity. So you really don't really have a much sense of self because it's placed in so many different places. So growing up and getting into Kiran the Nomad now, it's like I had to embrace who I was and be comfortable with being from a whole bunch of different places. Because people, it wasn't that deep, but people would tease me. They'd be like, okay, I'd be like, I'm from Seattle. They're like, well, no, you're not. And I'd be like, well, I'm from London. They're like, well, no, you're not. And then I'm like, well, I'm from Boston. And like people would get upset. So I was like, damn, like people don't want to claim me from anywhere. Like even now, like it was a kind of the thing I was like struggling with trying to figure out what city to kind of like claim coming up, because I learned a lot about myself in Boston, but then music started in Houston, but then I'm from London. So, you know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of confusion there. And then I think that even trickles down into my brand. So that's just stuff I'm like trying to be mindful of, is getting a pure sense of identity, of grounding, and then being able to give that to people. And for people who are like me, who, when I say don't know who you are, it's nothing to do with like who I am as a person. It's not that. It's more like who I am in relation to the world and what's around, who's around me. So for people who are struggling with that, that's what this music has always been for. I've always said that my mantra is like for people who never really have a home. It's not a physical space I'm really talking about. It's so much more so like you just don't really feel at home mentally in the world we live in. So that's what I make music. That's why the name came about. That's why I travel so much. That's kind of like how I got all of that together. So,
I mean, it makes sense. It's crazy because like when you started speaking about stuff like that, like I just recently came back from Las Vegas. I was at Day in Vegas, the festival.
How was it?
I met Armani. I seen Armani.
Oh, shoot. How was it?
Yeah, it was lit. He gave me 16 right there, bro, in person. That man gave me 16. I was like, oh, this nigga's nice. Like, that's crazy. Well, this nigga's really nice. He did it in person. Crazy, bro.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, but I'm like, it's like to tie it all together. I'm sitting here, bro, and I'm listening to each artist that come on stage, and D Smoke. I don't know if if you're familiar with the artist, but he came on. Was like, yeah, I'm from Inglewood, California. But then you start seeing a bunch of artists do that, like they say, this is where I'm from. So for me, it's kind of like, and I don't know you like super personally, but I've had enough conversation to where it's like I know that you come from a bunch of different places. So that's why I wanted to ask that, just because I was gonna ask you.
Sorry to cut you. It's not an issue. You know what I'm saying? It's not like but people do. You've seen it in your own life, I'm sure. People do this thing where either they'll give backhanded compliments, and if they can't finesse a backhanded compliment, it will be a subtle, like there'll be a diss within the question. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, where are you really from? You know what I'm saying? That so when people ask me genuinely, I'm not tripping. It's when it's like, for example, what you're just saying with D Smoke. If I were to go on stage, even at this point in my career, and be like, I'm from Boston, there's going to be a group of people who are hype and support me, and they remember like, oh, yeah. Then there's going to be people like, oh, well, we never saw you here. Immediately there's that
type shit.
It's just kind of I just want to be careful. I'm not really scared of anybody, but it's just like I said, embracing who I am. I'm from everywhere. So I am from Boston and London and Seattle and Atlanta.
Yeah, talk your shit.
what I'm saying? And I represent all of that, and I do it well. So just being able to do that and through the music.
But I think it's dope that, you're from all these places, because, some people never make it outside their hood, you know what I'm saying? So the fact that, that you have the ability to be in all these different scenes, you know what I'm saying, and fill the area out, you know what I'm saying, and get to know, like, take from it what, is meant for you, you know what I'm saying? I think that's super dope. And I think that, a lot of people who don't get that chance, they can kind of feel like a bunch of different places through your music, you know what I'm saying? Like, they can get that.
Sure.
So
yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. So are you ready for the project questions?
Yes, sir. Let's run it. Let's get it.
All right. I'm gonna go through a couple songs that like I really fuck with. And just some bars that kind of stood out to me. Also. All right. So with the first song of the track, the intro, Long Time. I think the first transition was when I realized I was like, I'm gonna fuck with this project, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna really fuck with this project. More so because I'm a big fan of transitions. I always love when there's like, it feels like there's two parts of a song, just because I feel like whatever you weren't giving me in the first one, you might give it to me in the second, you know what I'm saying? And
For sure.
I was wondering, so was it a point of emphasis? Because I do know that there's a lot of transitions in the project. I was wondering if did you make it a point to make the transitions the best that you could, and to have a bunch throughout the project?
Yeah, it was ew, that sounds so cocky. Oh my god. It was on me. I don't mean that in like a full of myself way.
No, you're good, bro. Flaunt your shit.
It was my idea in terms of like my producer. It's two producers. So it's Diego, who's 21, and to me, you've heard the beats and the sonics.
Mm-hmm.
He's got an upside where he's going to be talking to and around Kanye in some years. He's not there yet, but I mean, give him some time. These beats are ridiculous for his age. So there's that, and then you have my other boy Cash, who's literally the second half of Diego. Diego already is like a soul producer, but then like Cash is a soul, like gospel soul, like trap producer. It's crazy. So having them together was a cheat code in itself. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm not proud of it, but I could have gotten there and kind of like said almost anything, and that shit would have slapped because of them. It's not anything to do with me. It's like the beats were hitting. So I wanted to do it justice. The beats were hitting stuff we were making. We weren't even in a studio. None of this was recorded in a studio, by the way. So we were just at this little spot, like bad sound, and we were just making music. And I had these beats, and I wanted the album just to be a little bit more cohesive. I didn't know what I wanted exactly at the time, but I knew I wanted cohesiveness. So I just started putting beats together that I knew could kind of fit together. Transitioning is always fun. Like you said, I love beat switches too. Long Time was perfect because it was a grand like intro, but then like the song kind of got repetitive at the end. So I was like, okay, how am I gonna, I could cut it, or I could like, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna cut it. So then that's how I got inspired to do that, that first switch up. And then yeah, all the rest of them, I just kind of heard beats that fit together. Designer, that's two different beats from two different producers, made it two different times, but it doesn't sound like it. You would never know that they made them. Yeah, and then a couple of the other ones they made together, but then like we just switched them. So whatever made sense and whatever works. I would have done more beat switches if I could have. So I really fuck with them.
But it's crazy that you say that. You felt like it was getting repetitive, because it kind of flows into the question that I had. I said that you made an emphasis on the word time in the intro. And I was wondering, what does time mean to you? And real quick, I just want to say I love what's his name? Ivan Kennedy's outro.
Yes, sir.
He
did that in my bedroom at like we weren't even in a studio. Oh man, yeah, he went crazy, bro. Yeah. The word time means a lot. That in itself is a whole nother thing. For the project specifically, I don't think it was repetitive at that part. I've just heard that as a critique, so I don't mind it. But for the goal of the intent, emphasis on the word time. And even with the song switch, the only thing that kind of like remains is the word time between the two songs. So what that meant to me was just kind of like, I don't know, there's so many different ways I could run with it. Time is precious. Time is of the essence. Time is something that we think we understand, but we really don't understand. The lyrics on that song are really just important to me, especially the switch up. Tell me what you need. You've been waiting a long time for it. I know you want it. I can give it to you.
Right. That was hard.
I just need your time. Like, that's really all it is. Money, I mean, you don't need to be rich to do this shit. You don't need anything. Everyone, like the universal thing, everyone needs to give is time, no matter what. So that was just the theme I wanted to run with to start the project, just because this took time. It's still taking time. It's going to take time. if nothing else, if I never have another penny to give or I don't make another penny, that shit don't really matter to me. But time is here, and you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna have to spend it and spend it wisely. So yeah, I really wanted that to kind of like be the thing that people, and that's for that reason I liked Ivan's verse incredibly, because he's a rapper's rapper, so he can rap. But the verse he delivered was very on time and very much in line with what we were trying to do. So perfect. It was perfect.
You know, it was. I mean, I find myself often, you know, because what I realized, I'm not a singer either, you know.
Me either.
So, I'm not a singer, no matter how hard I try, you know, like no matter how hard, it won't come out right. But I find myself singing the end of that part where he's like, I just need time. Yeah, I'm like,
I want to hear with you, bro. We was no, it wasn't even a bad day. We went to a studio and the studio was closed, and we went back to the crib. We got a bottle. It was just us. We started talking about like other things. So we just had a good night, bro. It's just we're already close because we've been recording and doing stuff like anyways. Mm-hmm. But then that night just kind of like solidified us as friends and brothers. And he was really apprehensive about his verse just because he's a rapper's rapper. Right. His music, he can rap. His bars are ridiculous. And then, yeah, he's really, really, really good. So he wasn't sure if he wanted to deliver that kind of verse. I was like, bro, trust me. This is this is what we need. So when he heard everything in context, it was, man, he called me like lost his mind. So
right.
I'm always like when stuff like that happens, because I know how other people are about their art as well. So
right. No, I mean, and it's funny that you say that, you know, he's a rapper, because I feel like you have like a lot of those on here, you know, people who like real precious with their pen.
Yeah, man, I like rappers. Like I don't consider myself a rapper, not because I can't, but just because that's not what I've put out yet. Right. But I love rappers. I'm all into URL TV.
I'm the same way.
You know what I'm saying? So like, even if I'm not gonna battle rap in the industry, you know what I'm saying, I'd love to showcase as best I can people who I also know appreciate the art of rap.
Mm-hmm. Just a little tidbit, like just because I don't like when I try to tell people in my circle about it, some may not understand it. You know, like when you listen to battle rap and like somebody say like a real hard punchline, it's like you hear a little drop in the back and shit like that.
Yeah.
I'll be thinking that when I hear a song like that's really hard, I'm like it's shit like that. Like I'll be thinking at the back of my mind, bro. That shit is
Don
crazy.
DeMarco.
Yeah, Don DeMarco.
Bro, like I grew. I mean, when I say grew up, I mean there's some people who are more in depth. So I'm not gonna, but I grew up on it. Sue Surf, you know, Shotgun shit, like Hitman Holler. Like I just watched and respected it so much, to the point it trickled into my music, but into my poetry, into like other forms of my art. And I didn't even realize it. There's even instances on this album that people have pointed out to me that it's like almost battle rap-esque in some of the way I'm giving some of the, so it's really cool just to have those influences. Of course, one day I'd love to meet those guys and like all of that good stuff. But for now, just having that, and like you said, yeah, just highlighting rappers or people who know about rap and artistic, and they can share it. So that's really all that was about.
All right, so I told you we were going to double back to this song just because like I had a question in here specifically about how long this song is. I'm sure you probably know exactly what song I'm talking about. Yeah. All right, so Out Here. Oh no, not Out Here. I'm sorry. What You See. Why the hell did you make the song so short, bro? Like, come on, man. Like
marketing tactic. It's the first time I ever actually not first time.
Wait. Because I was about to say something about that. All right, so I said, why is the song so short? I said I extremely enjoyed it. I remember because remember you showed me initially that song in the hip hop lounge. Armani's Hip Hop Lounge. If you don't know about it, make sure to go follow my guy Armani Jordan TV on Twitter. Real cool dude. Even when you showed me initially, I was like, damn, I wish this was longer. I'm pretty sure I told you that night I wish this was longer. And then I wanted to ask you, you were about to explain it already, but I want to make sure I get the question off so I can show you how in tune.
Yeah, for sure.
I said, was that a strategic move, or did you feel like the song served its purpose at the current length?
Marketing and serve for purpose. So I didn't do too much feedback for the album free on the front side and on the back side, but all the feedback was really good. One of the few critiques that I got, which was very, very valid, was it's an album to album, meaning for most people who aren't into this type of music, you'd have to really sit down and listen to the album to get what's going on, which is the goal. That's what I wanted. But in this consumer microwave environment that we have, that's not gonna fly. So every song outside of What You See is longer than 3 minutes. Yeah, so great for a cohesive project, not so great for white folks at TikTok and the labels, and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's no label right now. There's no one in my ear. But even before they get here, I want to make sure I know, you know what I'm saying? It's just common sense. So the reason being, there's more to be done with it, meaning I can do a remix and get someone bigger on the song, and now the song would be a full length and it's not too long. I haven't performed the song yet. It's the next song I'm about to perform tomorrow. So that song specifically is gonna get pushed a lot. I mean, it's still being pushed, but it's going to be pushed like months after the projects have been out. So I knew, because of how good the song is and like the content of it, and like because it's short and the song structure and how it was written and the format and everything, it's one of them ones that could work. It's just about marketing. So that's going to be like my baby to practice my marketing, practice promo, practice sales and Instagram ads, and going to shoot a bigger and better video for it and all of that stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? I'm just still learning the ropes of it, but I wanted at least a song where I could learn it, and like, this is how you test, this is how you submit to editorials. So that's what that was for. It was a really fun song. It's one of my favorites. The beat is the loudest song on the album for sure. Just because of what we did to the beat. So yeah, bro, I'm really glad you like that song. It's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah. So, and I like just listening to it, I was like, damn, bro, this shit. I wish it was longer, because I seen, like, you know, I was looking at I'm one of those people, when I listen to an album, I really try to unpack that shit. That's why I told you initially, I was like, I'm not gonna do a review for this, especially if knowing that like just off the gate, like, I'm gonna want to listen to this more just so I can really deep dive for whenever me and you had the conversation. And I had to listen to a bunch of times, but initially, you know, me looking at the track, the time, like the time for each song, because I'm weird. Like, I like to look at shit like that. Like, I care about the cover art. Like, because I think your cover art is phenomenal as well. And I'm saying it's not really mentioned as much. But like, I think that cover art is really one of those things that, like, it's the first thing that people see when they see your music, you know? So I feel like that's important. But I also look at the length of the tracks, because it's weird trying to get like that perfect timing, you know? You don't want to make it too long, don't want to make it too small. Like 5-6 minutes is crazy, you know? But like 30-second tracks is like, why
crazy.
It's like, why is it here? You know what I'm saying?
So the thing, one of the things that you learn in the industry, so 30 seconds is the minimum time to count for a stream. So if you have anything less than 30 seconds, if it's an intro or an interlude, it's 28, 29. Even if people play the full thing, it won't count for a stream. So that's a secret that kind of people know. So every song is kind of like, it's an unwritten rule. It's a minimum 30 seconds just so you count credit for it. So people can have albums and have interludes and miss out on, and then, but like you're saying, on the flip side, you don't want to be too long too, because then the average attention span for people on a song is at like 1 minute 50 or 2 minutes. So it's a hard game to play, where there's a formula to all of this. So I'm still learning and like trying to like, trying to get everything down the way I want to get it down. But there's definitely a method to the madness, bro. So there was, definitely, to answer your question, there was a thought behind it. It could have been longer. I'd written a second verse. I took it off. My friend Trey had a verse on there. I took it off. I was debating a feature on it. Just wanted to make sure the song was short, and it did what it needed. So.
It's crazy that you say that though, because I told, you know, I don't know if you ever seen any of the reviews that I do for other artists, but I try to tell people all the time, like, hey, if you make it a certain length, that's cool. But if you start making that shit into like above 3, 4, 5 minutes, like, there has to be a transition in there somewhere.
Something.
Yeah, or people are gonna like, they're gonna hit next on that shit, just because, you know, like, it's hard to listen to one beat for that long period of time.
Happening. Yeah, you get it, bro. Yes, exactly.
So moving on to my favorite song on the project, and this is like, I'm not gonna lie, I probably play this song a lot more than the rest of them, but this is my favorite song, Out Here. Yes, personally, sir. I want to start by saying this is my favorite song. What made you go with the Kendrick sample?
That was a late choice for me. The song was done and I wanted it on there. I wanted a Kendrick sample specifically because, I mean, it sounds so cool because it's Kendrick, but for what he's done for my career and my life personally. So, and some of the things he said, specifically that interview, that's an interview I go back to a lot. So it just made sense. And then everything was, it's just going to sound weird. Everything was just like a natural kind of like spiritual kind of thing when I'm putting the final touches on the album for like voices and stuff. Cause I really just went to YouTube and kind of like, I don't do stuff like this, but I kind of like just closed my eyes and just kind of like dragged and like just listened to where I needed to. So it was like an hour and a half, 2-hour interview. And I got like right where I needed to get. It was perfect. What was said was perfect. It applied. I don't know. It just hit. It put the last icing on the cake for the song. The song was me, and then it was Lacey, and then it was Sway, and then we got Tino to do like this little, like, to me I call it frosting. So he's in the background of the song, just like icing it and bringing everything together. So the song was good enough as was, and then I was like, nah, we're not done. So Ebro and Kendrick, and I have no idea if they've heard it. I'm not really bothered about that. It's just having that inspiration, what was said specifically. So
right.
I really, it was really important for me to have that on the project, and it made sense. And people seem to respond well to it. So,
yeah, I think that it was dope when I initially heard it. It's crazy because I think that I think you might have played part of that in the hip hop lounge that night too, because I remember we had a conversation about the sample as well that night. But one thing I wanted to ask you, something you said in the song that kind of like, there's certain things that stick out to me just as a person. You said plenty of dreams are getting wasted out here. Can you speak to that a little bit? Like this, like your mindset and like, or some of the things that you see per se that that like make you feel that way or make you like think that?
Yeah, it's both it's a very reflective song. It seems like me and Lacey and Sway talking to y'all. That's what it would, I'm just assuming from an audience standpoint, that's what it would seem like. We're really talking to ourselves. And this isn't even necessarily like a deep conversation I've had with them. It's just something I'm very aware of. And one of the reasons the song is so special, each person's talking to themselves. So it's both a warning and a moment of understanding and enlightenment. So plenty of dreams getting wasted out here is a realization and a warning and an understanding of like who I am and what this is and the opportunity we have. And then even to go further, like Lacey, you could have had the garden alone, but she stayed with Eve. I got a bunch of them hit my phone, but they stay on read. Like talking to ourselves, but we're like, I don't know if we're rapping to ourselves from the future or what. I can't describe, but it was very, very much like we were channeling something that was bigger than ourselves for this song. And then my personal favorite verse is Sway, actually. Just because of how transparent his verse was on the way to CVS. I seen a nigga die. Like starting a verse like that takes balls. Right. I don't care what. That takes a lot of guts. And just like, yeah, the way he cut open himself and his situations and like his experiences, we all did it. But it was like, I don't know how to explain it. The best way I can describe it, bro, I'm not a surgeon, but it was as if we had three like neurosurgeons working together on one brain. Right. And everyone has scalpels and different cuts that are making but everyone's coming together to make the surgery like happen. So right. Even Tino just singing in the background, the volume is perfect. The panning is, I don't want to talk about the songs too much. I don't want to like too much, but that song specifically is very, very, very important. And I'm really, really glad people responded to it the way they did. Yeah, bro. So yeah, playing your dreams are getting wasted. Niggas are wasting their time. Like referring back to the initial thought for the album. What you see is what you get. So even in the series of how the songs are formatted, the chorus like kind of plays in line with the order of how I'm trying to explain like how this thing is going. I'm just showing what I've seen over time and like how things have matured. So it's a reflective song, a very, very reflective song, but a very important song as well.
And it's crazy that you say that because part of the thing, like what you're speaking about as far as because I feel like it's more so about like complacency. I feel like what you're saying is kind of like how I feel, which is probably why the song resonates with me a lot. As artists or like as creators, you have like a constant fight in your own mind of like, am I doing enough? Am I not doing enough? Is this getting me anywhere? How close am I? And I feel like when I hear the song and I hear, plenty of dreams are getting wasted out here, I feel like, yeah, like, and one of the things I wanted to say was, I know that you currently just moved out of California, right? I think you're in Houston right now, right? Mm-hmm. So kind of like with that, like you have a more of an opportunity to see people, but me being where I'm at, like consistently just seeing people's life, like them grow up and like them settle, like, knowing them when they're young, having a big dream, being like, I'm gonna do this. And now, they kind of like, I'm cool just working at Toyota for 20 years, and it's kind of crazy, what I'm saying? Because it's like, you are talented at what you did and you kind of just
what you're saying is exactly when I wrote the line, that's exactly what I had in mind was that. And the thing is, to take a step further, that could have been us. I mean, still It's not like it's a sure thing. You know what I'm saying? Like on any given day, these dreams could get way. You're one like bad day, you know what I'm saying? So it's
No G
it's all,
shit.
yeah. And where I'm from, they barely make it out here. It's not a diss. It's a proclamation, bro. Like
It's a hard reality, bro.
it's not even. And again, it's, you could take it and apply it to some people. It could mean gangs. Some people could mean whatever. But where I'm from, bro, and I'm from a lot of different places, the one underlying thing is it's hard to make it out, bro. Just in general. So, yeah, man, song's very, 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 very important.
And again, I just want to say that those the features on that song were some of my favorite, for sure. So moving to the next song, which it's crazy because it's like I feel like you start to get like this part of the project. It was like, okay, we really in our bag. Like we back to back songs with this shit. You know what I'm saying? So, Valley of Shadows.
Yes, sir.
For without a doubt, my second favorite song on the project. But that second half of that song was crazy. You said something in the song that kind of made me think. Just because like I be high sometimes, I be freaking out to myself, man, like about life and shit. You said you don't fear death. Do you have any thoughts on what comes next, or what made you so comfortable with the idea of death?
I'm not sure if it's ego or just a relationship with God, because that line between the two is is plagued with everybody. So people speak from one, but they're really speaking from, you know what I'm saying? So with me, there's a lot of spirituality in my life, and I mean, I grew up, I was going to be a pastor, so spirituality is something that plays big into everything I do, even if I don't realize it. With that being said, just coming to an understanding of life and what life is, and it's precious and it means a lot, but it's not. I don't know, but I'm just really into like it's bigger. It's very, very much bigger than us. So even while I'm here and the impact I want to make, I have big dreams and big goals and aspirations to do a lot and change a lot. But even after that, it's bigger than just that. So not fearing death doesn't scared to die. It means I don't fear death itself. So I'm terrified of dying. Don't shoot me. Don't even hit me, bro. I ain't been in a fight in long. Don't do it. But however, I understand that everyone has a time, and not even everyone has to go at night. So I'm not saying that. When the time comes, that unknown to me brings me so much peace, because all we do here, bro, is just live in an unknown. And it's a frustration because we don't know. And like, even when we do know something, that more unknown comes. So knowing that there's something certain, and that certainty is unknown, that to me brings me a weird peace, a very, very weird peace that doesn't make sense to everybody. It's not going to make sense to everybody. But with that, I can now live fearless, because now there's no fear of, I don't fear death, bro. So I can live my life. Like, you know, right. I can try to do shit. I can be a music artist. I can switch from being a pastor to being a music artist, doing shit that like would be outlandish to other people because there's a fear of life. Mm-hmm. And like, bro, I don't fear death, so I can't afford to fear life. But this shit is too much for me. So.
Something that you said that like it really resonates with me. You said a lot of stuff that resonates with me. Something I have been talking about lately is something that's kind of like making me want to start, like, because you know I don't really create music like that anymore, because I like listening to people's music and like just having conversations with you guys. Mm-hmm. One of the things that's kind of drawing me back to it is the idea of the unknown. You know, like people live their whole life not knowing. You just don't know. Like I tell artists this all the time. You could be one song away from being a superstar, and you just don't know. You know, can you imagine all the artists who were right there and then gave up because they're like, this is never going to pan out, but you're so close. You're this close. And it's like, life is full of just unexpected shit that we just don't know about, or what's behind this door, you know? And I feel like it makes a lot of people uncomfortable, you know? And it's like, it's hard almost to want to do something because you don't know, you know? But I like that it, like you explained it the way you did, that it brings you comfort, because I feel like it's a different mindset, and I think that's what's normal, you know, because a lot of people think of the unknown as something scary, but you find peace in it, and I really fuck with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Something that I wanted to ask you about, another line that you had in the song, you said, "I ain't pessimistic. This is repetition." What do you mean by that? What do you like? What does that line mean to you?
It's a good question. I was thinking about the line. So okay, side story real quick. The song, that was the last song we did. We did that song in a day or 2 days. So, and it was one session. So it was like, we just did that second half. So we got, again, I put the beat on the switch up. It switched really, really well. Usually I have to put like a transition or something, but that beat just kind of like did what it needed to do. So I was like, okay, bet. So I'm going to just come in here and shout out to, before I say anything else, shout out to Griot and Jasmine, who
we're gonna talk about Griot, bro.
Yeah, I don't want to say carried the song, but them shorties flew. them girls, them, yeah, it's a whole nother, we can talk about it in a sec. But yeah, so we're just making the song with, again, this is, I have a collective, a small collective called Outsiders Only. We're not anything crazy, but to me, we're it. We're not the next CDE or Dreamville, we're it. So all in good time that everyone will be revealed. But it's Jasmine, Ivan, me, Griot, Trey on What You See. So a nice little collective of artists. So yeah, bro, I Ain't Pessimistic just came because I was a little frustrated, and I still am, always am. It's something I'm working on because it's all place in pride and ego. But I'm just not happy with where I'm at. And so I counted it immediately because I don't necessarily like speaking frustration too much. If I'm speaking from a place, it's usually not frustration in my songs. It's usually like a transparent kind of thing. So whenever I'm ticked off or frustrated or anything like that, I try not to reveal it too much, just because I think there's healthier emotions to convey. But it's a real emotion, so I conveyed it. I ain't pessimistic. I'm not looking at this shit like I'm gonna fail. There's no option of failure. It's I don't look down on anybody, but whenever I hear an artist and they're like, okay, well, if this doesn't work out, the moment I hear that, bro, I'm just like, okay, well, we're not the same immediately. It doesn't have to be music. It can just be whatever it is you're chasing. And I get life's hard and, things happen to everybody, but we're not the same. Because my constant in the world of uncertainty has become music. So that's where that line comes from. Is I'm not pessimistic. This is my reality. Something I've talked about on the Hip Hop Lounge before, but when you first start doing anything, whether it's music or photography or whatever, you want to tell everybody because you want to prove to people that you are who you say you are.
Right.
So if you're starting, you just get a camera, you want to tell, I'm a photographer. What happens is by year 3, 4, and then let's go even further, year 8, 9, I'm at year 3, 4 now in my music, but year 8, 9, you don't, obviously by the work, but then also just by your character, you don't really have to say much of anything. You can spot an 8-year photographer a mile away by how they dress, how they walk, you understand what I'm saying? So the music became my reality real quick. So I didn't want to prove anything to anyone. So there's none of that. There's no proving grounds or anything. It was just more like, okay, bro, this is my reality. I ain't pessimistic. This is repetition. I'm doing this every single day. Right. I killed the speculation. So yeah, that's just what all that lines came about. It's very much just like a realization of who I am. Even in, outside of fearing death or not fearing death and not being scared of what's to come here. And after that, there's still more to realize and more to kind of like uncover with yourself. So that second half of the song is really, really powerful, bro. Yeah.
What, bro? It's crazy because I wrote it down. Real quick, I want to touch base about Armani's verse. Armani's verse it's crazy because I feel like time and time again, like I heard his single, I think it was A Prayer. I was like, that's not realized about Armani. Okay, this nigga special too. You know what I'm saying? Like, or is a real lit nigga.
Yeah, right. He's one of the ones. Yeah, he's different.
One of them guys. So it's like, all right, I gotta keep my eye on this guy. But so I'm listening to the song and then the transition happens and then you say that. I'm like, whoa. I look at my phone because I'm, like, is this a transition? Is this a new song? What's happening right now? Like, what's happening right now? I look at my phone and say, oh shit, this is the same song. What the fuck? I hear a chorus, which I'm not gonna lie, is probably would it be a chorus or a bridge?
That's what, even when I'm putting that down on like lyric thing, I wasn't really sure. The chorus I'm assuming the chorus is going to be the "I don't fear death" part, but then like the song switches and there's a whole different.
So, like, I think I need someone to help me.
Yeah, like I'm like, yeah, man. Oh my gosh, bro, she's ridiculous. She does these riffs on like the notes.
Bro, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about this shit, bro.
Yeah, but like honestly, not only, but like you only hear really like Jasmine Sullivan's, and I'm not even boxing Griot in because I'm not sure if you've heard Griot rap. She only has one song out right now, but her music, she's a different level, bro. She's a superstar in her own right. I could talk about her, and then Jasmine as well. Jazz was upset. She doesn't mind me saying she did not like her verse at all.
Wait, so that's crazy. So she was the one who rapped like towards the end?
Nah, Griot went twice, bro. So Griot went first, and then Jasmine sang in between, and then Griot came back at the end and like absolutely like it's not as if she hadn't done enough. Like as if she came back and was like, yeah, no, I'm not done yet. I think I need someone because death is standing closer from my doorstep waiting for bro. Like,
bro, I heard that. I'm like, bro, is this Rhapsody? What's going on right now? I was
like, bro, yeah, man, she's a different animal. She's incredible. I can't wait for her like coming out party. She has a song out. Once her first song is at like 300,000 streams. She's a big bro. She's a very, very big deal. That's the only song she has out. She's huge. I cannot wait. I could rave about them two specifically. All my features were incredible.
Right.
But they're family, and Jazz is like my twin. And I think if you were comparing people, that's the next Beyonce. And if I could say anything about Griot, then that's the next Lauryn Hill. And I don't like comparing names.
Right.
And I'm very aware of the names I just said. I'm very, very aware of the two names. But that's how highly I think of them and the talent level they have at, I think Jazz is like 21 years old and Griot is like my age, like mid-20s. So the upside is ridiculous. I'm very much a believer in me, but I'm very, very, very much a believer in the people I work with as well.
But see, I'm not mad at you saying stuff like that because as a fan of just music, listening to this shit, and when you say, like, I don't like comparing people, I don't look at it necessarily as a bad thing because I believe in artistic DNA. We hear artists and naturally, like, if you like it, like, it becomes a part of you naturally.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Like, or when you hear something and you hear something that you feel like I can see where it might meet at. When I heard her verse initially, I was like, I can like. The reason why I say she sounds like Rhapsody isn't because I think that they're the same. I think it's because I'm not much of a fan of Rhapsody. I think Rhapsody is like my top 5 female like rappers. So for me, like, that kind of comparison is like, I don't make that comparison often. So when I hear her first, I'm like, she's going crazy.
And what it is, I'll tell you, bro, like, it's what it is. And even with me, there's what people have to do. It's not a bad thing. I don't judge anyone for, but like, we need in our brains can't, and that's why even going back to what we were just talking about with the death thing, our brains are like scientifically can't function with new. It sounds weird, but we can't process new. So when anything new happens, if someone new you've never seen comes in your room before, something new happens, some new energy, what you have to do to go back to make sure don't freak out and don't, like, your brain doesn't lose your mind, you have to categorize things. So this is with everything we do, with food, with music, with people. We categorize. It goes into a safe pile, a danger pile, this pile, that pile. So it's not a bad thing at all. It's a natural human thing. But I say that to say, quite humbly, me and then them two, and then a couple of the other niggas on these albums, there are really no boxes for them. They're gonna make their own names type thing. So it's like, it's cool being at this stage and seeing how early it is, because we have to kind of like Rhapsody, Lauryn Hill, Beyonce, because it's like, at this point, that's all we can. Right. In a few years, bro, they're going to be the names where it's like people are going to be comparing to them. So it's really, really, I say that in a humbling way. It's like, it's really cool to see the impact the music's had here. There's still work to be done, but like, I'm very, very excited to see where they're at in a few years, man, for sure.
No, and I want to leave it at that, but I just have to say one more time that I think I Need Someone to Help Me was that's my favorite.
Oh my god,
that's my favorite shit of the year. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I remember that song, and like, I ain't gonna lie, treat that shit like some Birdman shit. Skip all the way to the end just to make sure
I ain't even mad at you, bro.
I'm locked in. You know what I'm saying? But like, so moving to the next song, just another interlude.
Mm-hmm.
Just a quick question about the song. Just, and again, not to more so put you in a box, just because my brain, I'm saying, just trying to compare.
No, you good, yeah, for sure.
I feel like this song had a lot of like a born center to it. I'm not sure if you if you listen to it like a bunch as of recently, because I know sometimes the songs get lost just because of all the new music that's coming out and stuff. But like, he had a fuck ton of interludes on there. Like Rich Niggas. Don't get me there trying to name all them shits, but like,
shit. I hate Rich Niggas got it. What's the other one? Mo Money. Yeah.
So like I feel like it kind of had that vibe to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just another interlude, and then you kind of like just.
I appreciate that's a really dope compliment, bro. I appreciate that. Wow. I love Born Sinner. I'm mid-20s, so like my high school times, it's 2009 to 2013. I sound old. That's, if you know those dates, that's J. Cole. So that's J.
Yeah,
Cole,
when
Kendrick,
did you
Wale
graduate?
coming 2013. So
You
I'm
were right
coming
there with
out and
me.
going to college. Yeah, I'm going to college when nothing was the same as coming out. Take Care is when I'm in high school, and I'm like, yeah. So you know what I'm saying? So I'm coming up, and I'm not knowing I'm going to be in music at this time. Kind of, I had a feeling, but I didn't know. So I'm coming up on these albums. I don't mean like I'm listening to them. I mean, if I saw it and then like for 5 seconds, I could name Born Sinner's track list like from front to back. Like these is what I was like listening to and like basing my personality around, because I'm leaving my parents like listening to the radio and everything and finding what I like. So Kanye, early Kanye, Kendrick, Cole, Wale at that time specifically.
I'm so glad you said Wale, because
at that, he was bigger than them. I mean, I've talked about this, people don't understand. At that time, in 2010, 11, and then until 12, when Good Kid, Mad City came out, Wale was bigger. He had a head start. He was a bigger artist, and it was just a different
More
level.
About Nothing was fucking insane.
It's an album changed my life. I painted the album. Like that's how, like I physically painted that. Yeah, bro. So you understand. So that even in my music now, you can like kind of hear a little, because there's nothing new under the sun, bro. I'm a very original, authentic artist, but I'm not gonna kid myself and think I'm just bro. These are stuff I've learned, and even some of the cadences, it's very Cole-esque, and some of the, you know what I'm saying. So I don't like comparing, but yeah, I can see it and I can hear it for sure. So I appreciate that that comparison. I haven't heard that for that song before. So that song just came about quick. We got the beat, and I was like, just another, and I just kept going, and it just turned into that. And I was like, okay, bet this is how the song gonna rock.
No, for sure, bro. When I heard it, like that was like my first thought. I was like, damn, this shit sounds like some, this sounds like some Born Sinner shit. So I was like, I'm gonna lock in on this a lot more. But that kind of brings me to my next question as far as next song goes. So Designer. I feel like this song had that radio feel to it. I feel like this is probably one of the very few songs I'm like, oh, this shit got like a real radio feel to it, you know. Especially the chorus in the end, that shit slaps. This is one of the cases where I was wondering, did you write that or did she write that?
Okay, first of all, let me shout out my work girlfriend. This is not my real girlfriend. This is just my work girlfriend. You know what I'm saying? It's a little work, babe. You know, talking your little 9 to 5. You know, do what it do. The woman is beautiful. She's an incredible artist. I fucking love Lily Aviana, bro. She's amazing. It was just one of those things. We were at these sessions in New York, New Jersey, and she came in, and we knew who she were kind of. And she came in, and it was like just an immediate chemistry. Like there's a whole bunch of people there, there's a whole bunch of other artists there, but with her, it was in a chemistry. So there was hella people in the room. There's other artists, and I'm like, hey, I got something for you. Press play, and the rest is history. And so she had heard the first part. I hadn't put the switch up on it yet. I put the switch up on it maybe 2 days later, and then we finished the sessions where we were. We went back home, and she said she was going to do it. And I knew how she's not necessarily like huge, but she has a manage. She's like, so I was a little nervous. I didn't know she was going to be able to get it back, and she sent it back, and bro, that was all her. I did the switch up, the beat and everything, the sing, everything was her. Ridiculous, absolutely phenomenal. I don't know how she came up with that. And originally, what's funny, I forgot about this, bro. Griot was going to be on that song. So Griot was penned to be on the switch up of Designer. And then Griot, I went to Griot's house for the session, and she was like, I have something for this, but like, I'm not sure. Cause like, she's like, I don't know if I want to be talking about Gucci. Griot's very like black and very like, let's support black artists. And like, we're not going to buy from Gucci and Louis. So it worked out. I was like, I have another beat for you. And then Lily did what she did. And then another funny tidbit. I had a verse back from Unusual Demont, who I'm not sure if you know, he's blowing up right now as an R&B singer. So it would have been the icing on the cake for that song. The song was perfect, and it would have put it over the top. But we just couldn't get it cleared in time. So then, I was like, okay, I'm going to keep what we have. And then I had a verse. I recorded it. That shit was ass. Lily, the shit was ass, bro. I'm a fire ass artist, bro. I'm good. I'm really good. That shit was ass.
No, I honestly, I love the honesty. That's some real shit to say, bro.
I was trying to like do this like Playboy Cardi-esque thing that would have been a vibe had I been able to do it right, but I could not. I took that shit off, and then I'm so glad Lily did what she did on it. So
no, I'm glad that it stayed that way, because
yeah, for sure.
That shit was hard, bro. I was like, damn, this is another fucking switch up. That's crazy, bro. But
And sorry, last thing about that song, one of the reasons that's one of my favorites too, on that switch up, you'll only really hear it in headphones or any like or really good speakers, but all of the beats are panning across the album, so there's really good mixing. But that song specifically has basically the beat is spinning on the switch up. So in headphones, the beat is like bouncing. The 808 is just bouncing in a way where it's like spinning in a circle. It's like panned. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just spinning. So like it gave it this really, really dope. It doesn't sound like it when you listen to it out loud. When you listen in headphones, there's so much going on, like a beat. It just brings it together. So I really, 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 really like that song. Lily did too. Yeah, again, shout out to her. So
and now she went crazy. You want that Gucci? And I was like, okay, it's a vibe. It's a vibe.
She slipped Fendi in there, bro. That's the part that iced it for me. She said Gucci, Louis, Fendi. I was like, bro, what?
Yeah, no, she went crazy, bro. And I was like, damn, like that. But that's why I told you initially, like, I felt like all of these features, they felt like it's hard sometimes, because like we were talking about earlier, a lot of artists, they'll get artists on there just because like I know this is gonna make money. You know what I'm saying? Like this is gonna bring both our fan base together, it's gonna get a lot of streams, we can get a plaque off this shit, whatever. I feel like that wasn't the case with none of these. It wasn't focused on like, okay, what are we gonna do to try to like give us the best chance at, you know what I'm saying, at getting everybody involved. It was more so like, this song sounds perfect for you. Here it is. Like, just do what you need to do with it and then give it back to me. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I mean, because at a certain level of artistry, not that you can't, but I mean, if I know someone, I can send them a beat and just be like, whatever. But there's a professionality to do like features. So you have to kind of send the song done and let people know this is the verse I need you on kind of thing. So for me, I was doing that, but then I don't like limiting people. So I don't ever want to tell someone write about this and do this and only do 8 lines. If you write, if I ask for a feature and I'm expecting a 16, and I've had this happen, someone has given back like it was 128 or 64, and we kept the whole thing. It was me and this other rapper named Azar on the song, and the last dude sent back a long feature, and it was so fire. I was like, yeah, if this is what you were inspired, by all means, I don't. And people are like, yeah, he watched you for sure, bro. That's the goal for me, but I'm not sure. I have an ego, but it's not there. My ego's not right. That's my goal, bro. I want these features to shine. I want Lily to shine. I want Griot to shine. You know what I'm saying? So I just try and keep it going.
That's funny. That's funny. No, for sure. Because it's like, some people, you hear about like cases where it's been like an artist has watched the artist and it's like, bro, I'm not putting this shit on here. Who do you think you are? That's crazy.
Yeah, nah, bro. I ain't doing. I love these niggas, bro. I really want niggas to do well. So
no, for sure. But speaking of artists, of talented verses, this is the outro we're talking about here now. Everything is everything. I don't know if you ever seen any of the videos that I put out, but one of the two things that I highlight, outside of everything I talk about, is how good an intro needs to be and the outro needs to be, because the intro is outside of the cover art. That's the first piece of music that they're going to hear from you. You know what I'm saying? Outside of your single, if you put one out, but the intro is the first thing that someone might hear from you. And if that shit is trash, it's going to fuck up the rest of the album. You know what I'm saying? The outro is all about, like, is this going to be anticlimactic? Is this going to be, you know what I'm saying, everything I hoped it to be? You know what I'm saying? Like before that credit roll, am I satisfied? You know what I'm saying? So this was an amazing outro to me personally. One of the features that I want to talk about on here, and you probably know who I'm about to say, because I've been tweeting about this artist a lot. Dende is fucking crazy, bro. The fuck?
Yeah, let's talk about it, bro. Yeah, I speak highly of everybody, but I'll keep my words short. Dende is the leader of the new school, bro. He is the best artist out of all of us, to me. He has the album of the year to me. He sounds the most seasoned to me.
Wait. I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off, but okay. See, I said that like 5 times, and I felt like niggas thought I was bugging, but A Happy Man is a crazy fucking project.
I've been saying that since me and him and Byrie got a song together last year, and they were both very so early. I mean, shit's completely changed in a year, but I knew then just from his pen, because I have a bunch of songs with Dende, but we only have 2 out. And the 2 he's done that are out, he's always rapping on the songs. He's a singer, and the verses that he's delivering rap wise are usually the highlights of which one he's. So from I already knew, you know what I'm saying? It was, he was one of a big influence on me coming out here too. I came out earlier this year. I was visiting a friend, and then I went and pulled up on him, and he had his video shoot for this thing he was doing, and just really good energy and very put together, and pastor's kid like I am too. So there's a lot of similarities and a lot of stuff that I just saw, and I was like, okay, just one of them ones where if you have an ear for music, you can just tell. So it wasn't so much of a thing of like, we need Dende on this song. This song came together because of my exec. Shout out Zona. He had tweeted it and asked, and he was like, can these four get on a song together? And I just so happened to have a beat that I thought people would like. So I sent it out, and the song got done that same night. I kid you.
That's how all y'all got put on the song together.
We're all close. We're not all close. Well, I'm close with every single one of them anyway. So me and Zay, that's like my first artist friend. Cam, that's the first person I'd ever met in the industry, like in real life. And then I met Dende a couple of days later. So like I knew all of them in person anyways. But yeah, the song came together quick. I had my verse already done from a year or 2 years ago. It was a long time. And then Zay had his verse done, and then Cam sent his in the night, and then Dende heard it and then sent it back within an hour. So I'd had the song ready. Yeah, I kid you not, an hour. And he tweeted right after. He's like, it was one of his best verses, and clearly. So,
See, the crazy thing is that like I know you knew that verse was crazy because I seen a snippet. Like that's when I heard it, and I was like, but when is this shit coming out? I don't want to hear any more snippets. When is it coming out? Like I don't want to. Yo, one thing that I hate about this new era is that we have to put snippets out, and it's like,
yeah, man.
Give me the fucking song. What are we talking about right now, bro? Like, why is this not out? You know what I'm saying?
It's floating right now, but yeah, bro. But
yeah,
shout out to all of them. Just little things. So some more tidbits and fun facts. Grio's on that song. She's in the background. She was singing background ad-libs and like this floaty, airy thing. But then when we were recording, she wasn't actually recording through the mic. So she was coming through the laptop, which is just a typical error. But we decided not to change it because it sounded so weird. It sounded like a ghost. It sounded terrifying, but it sounded so eerie that we decided to keep it and not have her actually sing. So actual like vocal notes aren't coming through. It's like this eerie that you can hear on the back. You can't even notice it's in the song, but it's like a whispery kind of like wave on the back of on the outro. Right. So Grio's on that song. Just having all outside of her on the background of that, all men on that song for a song that's that emotional is rare. You can have it. I mean, sure, men make you feel something, but not that many on one song, just pouring their heart out in the way that they did and reflecting. So, it was a very, very important song to me. And then, just the backside of it, just making sure I, just showed love to everyone who's been showing love to me.
Sure.
Yeah. So,
one thing I wanted to ask you, well, two things I wanted to ask you. And the first was kind of a goofy question, but I feel like this is important. Or maybe I should ask it differently. Did you feel like at any moment when you listen to the entirety of the song, you're like, yeah, this is gonna be the outro? Like, did you have that moment?
The outro was gonna be all of me because it's an outro. All of me is it is an outro.
It is. And I wrote it down somewhere in my notes when I was initially listening because I was gonna do a review. But I felt like it was special enough to where like I'll do the interview first and then do the review. I felt like that was a great lead up to the outro.
Yeah, that's exactly. Thank you. So it's just having an ear for the stuff. So it would have been perfectly fine as an outro, and I don't think people would have complained. But then we got Everything Is Everything. Like I heard the song the first time, and my producer cried. And he's not an emotional person at all. He is, but like he doesn't show that. Like so, I hadn't seen that from him from our music in like ever. Maybe one or two times, like randomly, like with a couple moments of stuff we'd had. But not in the car, just like we just got the song back. It wasn't mixed down yet. And like, so we had just played the unmixed, the raw version, and we were losing our mind. I still remember that day, sometime in like March or April. And we were like, yeah. But we knew from then. I think Dende, honestly, is what like solidified it as an outro, just because, but it just made sense. And then, I just wanted, like I said, I'm big on things that make sense. So, just it fit. And another cool thing, the key of the outro is the same key as the intro. So when the album loops, it actually loops back seamlessly. So it felt right. It made sense. You know what I'm saying? So I just did what made sense and just kind of went from there and followed what I felt.
It's so weird. Like like hearing that because like my my algorithm on Spotify is like really weird. So like they know I like Out Here. So when the song that everything is everything ends, it just goes straight to Out Here. And I'm like, who told you to do that? I'm gonna let it
Last
play.
thing I'll give you, so there's this thing about frequencies and hertz. So music is listened to in 440 hertz in general. So most of the radio music, most of all the music we listen to. The best way I can explain it, everything's on a frequency. So even like how I'm talking now, it's on a vocal frequency that we can hear. It's a hertz range between 0 and 20,000. Everything is low, like 100 and 500 is too low for us to hear. But those are harmful and dangerous. So those are like, you can hear like a really low tractor or like we don't even know this stuff's happening, but like, or maybe like a water pump outside. That stuff can harm us. Like it can actually like hurt your body. Then really high frequencies, we know those can harm us because we don't like those. Those are like really high pitched sounds that we just. So I say all that to say, XXX, rest his soul, had spoken to this, and I didn't understand until this album. He dropped all his music to 432 hertz. So it's only an 8 hertz degree drop. But what it does is 432 is the frequency of the universe. Not to get too like spooky on you, but
No, I like that. I like kind of shit like this.
What that means, bro, is the frequency of the trees and of life and of happiness and peace and prosperity is on 432. Dysfunction, anxiety, harm, anger is 440. So what does this mean? It means when you're listening to mostly all your music, it's on 440, subconsciously, even if you're listening to something that's sad or Mac Miller, the frequency, I think Mac Miller might have figured this out too. I'm not sure, I haven't checked his music, but the frequency you're listening to subconsciously makes you feel a type of way, and it's not always good. So even when you're at a club or you're driving, you don't even notice it happens. You're driving, you're like, had a good day, you're in a good mood, you listen to a song that puts you in a good mood, and you're in a good mood, but you don't feel good. Like there's a feeling that's not related to your mind. It's just separate. So what I wanted to do is fix that. So we dropped everything on the album to 432 hertz. And what that does, it puts it all on a softer frequency. So the key of the songs don't really change, but the pitch of the songs, the tones become softer. Everything becomes a little nicer on the ears, a little easier to hear, a little softer to digest. And it's a nicer frequency for everyone. So I say all that to say, bro, when people are done listening to the project, there's a feeling scientifically that they're left with that's a good feeling. So I was really, really, really adamant that we did that for each of the songs to make sure that it wasn't on 440. Just meaning, so even if someone's not really paying attention to the album, but it's on, their subconscious is feeling a little bit more full. And that's all I want to do, bro. It's really like make music people. So,
and to add on to what you're saying, just because like I've never heard it be broken down that way, but I've always just looked at it like this, and it's probably it's like it's childish, but it's not really. You know, have you ever heard? I think I might have told you about this. I think we might have talked about it on Hip Hop Lounge. But you remember I told you we had a conversation about like, in my mind, there's a such thing as music therapy. Like people can heal from music.
Oh yeah. No, it's sorry to cut you real quick. Janae Aiko is this reason she's who she is. That's what you just said. It's music therapy. Yeah, frequencies and healing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I always had this ideology that, well, if music can make you feel good, music can make you feel bad. You know, like there's music that can pull on the wrong strings and either make you angry or make you sad. And I feel like it's a lot of people who like they don't intentionally do it, but I feel like, you know what I'm saying, there's songs that make you like for instance, I always say as a joke, when I'm like, you know, early Chief Keef, like Finally Rich, I'm like, yo, I used to want to fight niggas on listening to this project, you know, like I used to want to like,
yeah.
But the way you explained it, it just put it into a whole different level, like,
so take what I just said with the frequencies and now add that with it's magic. I'm not gonna. There's no other way around it. It's a whole other for another time. It's now take words and now take frequencies and now take beats and now take even down to our minds respond to vowels. So this is something I learned from Playboy Cardi. AEIOU. People respond to it. What does that mean? I got a bad bitch. She made me mad rich. Cool. I got a bad bitch. A. She made me mad rich. A. It's catchier immediately. You see the immediate. So Kendrick's and J. Cole's that have mastered this in the vowels. So it's like, I remember syrup sandwiches and grandma allowance. A. Be humble. A. Sit down. A. They've learned the vowel. There's so much to it, bro. So if you can master all these like different, you can control people and move people and get people to do it. So it's a power, but it's dangerous. You have to kind of be mindful. So for me, I just kind of take it, and I want to heal. I want to help. I want people to feel something, obviously, but then now that I don't want them to feel anything. I want them to feel something that's going to be beneficial. So that's why I kind of pay so much mind to it, and like I put a lot of time in making sure at the end of the album that everything was all the songs connected, the frequencies, and all the transitions and all of that. So
so to round off, I mean, to end the part about the questions about the project, the last question I wanted to ask you is, who had your favorite verse on the project?
There is no verse I didn't like at all. I wouldn't have made it if I didn't. I love everybody. Lacey sticks out to me immediately just because of the content of his verse. I know his verse. I know all the verse. I know his verse better than any other verse on the project.
Right. Type shit.
Yeah, him and Sweat, like that song. So I'd either give it to Lacey or Grio, honestly. Another thing too, she didn't even have to say. I was aware. I told Gria, I was like, bro, we're gonna get some more because I know you're not even completely happy with like the verse and how you. She's like, oh, thank you for saying that. Just her level of artistry, because she didn't even give me her best verse. Like it was we came together for a day, and she was like, all right, this is the beat instead of designer, so let me write to this real quick. So that's what she gave me. Like, real. Had she sat and like, you know what I'm saying, like. She's an incredible artist. So yeah, either or of them, I wouldn't be mad either way. Both of them went absolutely phenomenal.
Okay. All right. So here's extra project questions. Just like some extracurricular shit.
Sure.
Is there anything? Well, I mean, you kind of been like spilling it throughout like the entirety of the interview. But is there anything that you want people to know about the project? Like any fun facts or anything like that?
It's. I can say it's all good. It's a sequel and a prequel at the same time.
I like that. Don't say too much more, but I like that. I know you said that you're working on a video for Granny, Lord Have Mercy. Mm-hmm. Did you want to speak on that a little bit more, or is that like on the quiet?
We can. I think I can't say what people have responded most well to, because to be really honest with you, every single song has been reported back as a favorite, like multiple times. So I can't say what the favorite is, but Granny seems to be that was the song that Shrek. And here's the thing about Shrek. I'm not sure if you know the page, Shrek Knows Rap. So he's a big music blog page. The thing that people don't understand, it's not just about getting on that page. Nah, bro, Shrek's ear for music is ridiculous. Like, he has a very, 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 very good ear for what's good, what's really good. So that was a song he immediately gravitated to, and he put it on a bigger playlist, not like the underrated. So for me, I was like, whoa, okay. And I knew the song, was good. It wasn't like I did, but it was just like, okay, so this is, and then I went back. So for me, for the video, I want to make sure it matches kind of like people's response to the song. And then like the energy on the song is really, really, really important. I wrote that not for my grandma, but about my grandma. Just dealing with the idea of realistically with how fast things are going and how the rate of the success. I'm more likely to see a Grammy before my grandma again. So
I was thinking about that bar when you said that.
Yeah, bro, that's where the whole song came from. It was that one line. It was just like a realization of that. So yeah, bro, I just want to make sure the video is done justice. I have a really dope videographer out here. I'm really glad I moved here. So for sure. I'm gonna try and get that shit shaken and have that hopefully by the end of this year. I want that out. We'll see how soon I can get everything together.
Last question for the as far as the project questions go. What song was the hardest to get together, whether it was a verse delay or sample clearance, etc.? Which song was this the hardest to get together?
It would have to be TNT. Oh my god, bro, it was a nightmare. Yeah,
it was a nightmare.
Yeah. So first of all, me and we do now. It's changed. I think people changed our minds. Me and my producer didn't like the song. So we didn't like the song at all. So not the other verses, we just didn't like. It was a situation where we made the beat. He made the beat October 2019 or 2020, and then I verse maybe March or April 2020. So I've had that verse for a long, long, long time, and I've much improved. And it was just a thing. I was like, we just, you know what I'm saying. But It was hard to get together because Samad, bless his heart, Samad's crazy. So he sent back his verse, and then he called me, and I hadn't met him or anything like that. So I pick up the phone, and he's like, "Yo, your verse is crazy. I just sent mine back. You got to come right back after me." I was like, "What you mean?" So then I heard what he did, and it was his idea to do the little SpongeBob thing, which I knew about. Like I didn't even know about. So it was just like, it was fun. It wasn't like, but it was just a hard song to get together. And I had to tell Corrali, I was like, I bet you already gave me a 16, but now I need another 16 because like this. So it was cool.
Type shit.
And then I told him too. I was just like, that was the only song that didn't have a theme or any type of real like. I told him I was like, let's just rap fast. That was how I got them to do it. So,
it's crazy that you said that initially. So did in the end, did you feel like it made you like the song more, or?
Oh, what they did made me love the song. They made me love the song. I did not like my verse. It was just an old song. Like I heard it.
Okay.
Yeah, me and my boy had played it like 1,000 times. But then it was a thing where it was old to us but new to people, because for people who aren't into words or music kind of thing, and they just like kind of turn up, that's the song people loved. So people added that song a lot to playlists and stuff. So after I saw that, I was like, okay, bet. And it's just always funny how like the artist has his favorites and then like what people like. So
type shit. So
yeah.
All right. Sorry I keep coughing, man. I'm sick as hell. All right, so personal questions. This is how I usually round up the interviews with personal questions, just to give like people something to look at as far as like outside of the music, you know what I'm saying? Just you as a person, you know what I'm saying? I like to ask every artist that I talk to this question. What is some of the ways that you cope with life outside of making music?
Oh, that's a good question. I like to be around good people. So I'm very mindful about the people I keep around me, just especially because I am so friendly and I'm so engaging with everybody. I talked about this at the very beginning, just losing that boundary line or that filter on yourself versus adapting to the environment around you. So I like to spend time with good people who can make me feel good about myself, people who inspire me. I'm 26. I'm just now getting back into reading. I feel bad about it for the years that I lost, but I'm just getting back into like some self-help books. I'm not sure if I'd said this, or I'd written 2 books before music had started. One was a love and self-help book, and then another one was a self-help book.
I really so just
getting back, I can link them to you after, but I got you. Just getting back into reading and writing, free writing. I still write to like beats and stuff, but like just writing and not for anything. Remembering why I first started, kind of like that feeling of just getting into music and being hungry. And then everything else is just typical like artists. So I'm a foodie. I just moved to Houston. I very much plan on going in it and seeing what this food is talking about. And just a good time, bro. So wherever the good times are, I usually am.
For sure. All right. So what are some things that you're passionate about that someone might not be able to tell from listening to your music? You know, like some people collect pennies, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
Yeah, I'm passionate about. I don't know if you can or can't, but I'm passionate about people. I don't know if you can or can't tell from the music. Outside of that, I grew up on the only thing I think I was better at than music was soccer. So
I have seen you talk about that on the timeline a lot.
Yeah, I grew up on soccer. So I'm from London, and I mean out there football, soccer is a religion. Right. So there's something I grew up on. I moved out here. I was playing a lot. I was really, really good. It was something I considered a future and type thing. Played all the way until like sophomore year of college. So even now I don't watch as much. I haven't played in forever, but the passion is still there, for sure.
What would you consider to be your comfort food?
Macaroni and cheese.
That's fire.
One thing about me, so I went to school in the South in Alabama, and not everyone, but I didn't know how to cook. I just wasn't that good at it. And then I was being in the South, you just learn from the environment you're around. So I was able to learn like Southern cooking. And, the first mac and cheese I made, I'm gonna keep it real, it wasn't edible. It wasn't edible.
Why did you lick your lips before you? It wasn't edible. I just didn't like it.
I thought about it. I bit it again in my mind. I'm remembering vividly. People have like distant memories now, bro. I was like 20. I just moved into my apartment and sophomore year of college. No music. I was gonna be a pastor at this time. I just got in my house. I don't know how to cook. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't want to spend out tonight. I cooked my little mac and cheese, bro. I got the pan. I followed the directions. That shit was not edible, bro. It wasn't it. I don't know what I did. The second one was a little better. I could eat it. Third one was okay. The fourth one, I could like feed other people. The fifth one, I messed up again, so I had to go back to stage one. The sixth one, and I'm saying all this, bro, it's just repetition. I ain't pessimistic.
I ain't pessimistic, bro. What a full circle.
Now, bro, I'm known for like some people come for some mac and cheese. I didn't know at the time. It was like I had to learn my recipe and did it. But now, bro, I love some mac and cheese. So if I'm anxious, if I'm not anxious, if I'm hungry, if I'm not hungry, I'm gonna cook me some mac and cheese. And I put my elbow in it, bro. That shit going in the micro.
I put my elbow in it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, bro. Oven on 350. I might take it out. We might put 4 cheeses in that bitch. It just depends on what we doing, bro.
Oh man, that's crazy. Mine is baleada. So I've been eating it a lot lately. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's like
paella or what did you say? Paella?
No, baleadas.
What is
saying it right? It's a Hispanic dish, but like, cause you know, well, my girl's Hispanic, so like she's been putting me on like a bunch of Hispanic food, so it's like, like.
What is it? Can you describe it? What is it?
It's like I wouldn't say it's like a burrito, but it's kind of like it's like egg, steak, avocado, a mantequilla, like it's like folded.
Is avocado mashed up and like mixed into it all?
Yeah, and it's like folded down.
Okay. Because I don't like avocado, but I would eat that. That sounds actually hella good. Actually, really, really.
You don't like avocado?
No, but I'm weird.
The interview's over. I don't know what you're talking about right
now. I don't like avocado. I don't like peanut butter, and I don't like watermelon. I feel like when you get to hell, the ladies from Costco are there serving you free samples of those 3 things.
No, I'm sorry, I laughed. This is like as soon as you said all 3, you said I feel like in hell. I'm like, what transition are we making? What are we talking about?
To hell, it's that lady from Costco. You know exactly who I'm talking about because you've been there. It's the one with the hairnet and the hairnet not even on all the way. And she's there, hi, welcome. And then they give you samples of watermelon, peanut butter, and avocado.
It's crazy because I don't really fuck with watermelon either. And I hate the stereotype that we eat watermelon because it's like, why do I want this?
People who, bro, the worst part about it is people who like watermelon don't even have a valid argument. They'd be like, it's so watery and juicy. Bro, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? I'm not a violent person, bro, but I want to smack some people over some water. That's just not good. It's just not good, bro. It's
all right. It's not my favorite fruit, you know? It's too many good ones.
I'll eat like a watermelon flavored Warhead. And that's pushing it for me. Even that, I'm like, okay. Yeah, you got me. Yeah. So.
All right, man. All right. Who are your most listened to artists currently?
I'm listening to a lot of Boogie. Is my favorite rapper right now, and it has been for some time.
Okay.
I think when he does drop again, his next project will separate him from a lot of people. I'm listening to a lot of Boogie, and to be quite frank, I hate being this guy. I'm listening to a lot of my friends because my friends are the future. So
right,
we're playing Dende and Byrie, and Chris Patrick gets a lot of playtime from me. I'm playing a lot of Azar. There's this guy out here in Houston named Don't Ask Again. Again, let me make sure I say his name right. Sorry. Lily gets played by me. Obviously, you know, it sounds biased. So I'm working with these people, right. But now they're incredible music. So
I was gonna say that I don't think it's biased at all. They're talented people.
Yeah, for sure. And then a few more people. Let me think. Some Lucy's. I felt with Kenny Mason heavy, of course. Jid, Isaiah Rashad's my favorite artist of all time.
Type shit.
I'm listening to I listen to a lot of R&B. So 070 Shake, Ryan Trey, phenomenal new album he just dropped. Oh boy, man. Topaz Jones had album of the year for me. My overall album of the year. Dende had my favorite album, but overall album of the year. Topaz was ridiculous. Topaz Jones. It was an R&B soul album. Don't go telling your mama.
I don't want you to shoot off too much. The next question I'm going to ask you is important. The next question is important. So I don't want you to shoot off too many names because you got to shoot off 5 more.
Yeah, I listen to a bunch. I'm trying to think of anyone else important. Nah, those are all my favorites. Those are my daily rotation. If I go to my Spotify, that's all who I'm playing right now. I listen to everybody, but those are like my favorites. So.
All right. So last question I have for you. Who's your current top 5? It doesn't have to be like, you know, like people like, oh, I have to have this name here. It's subjective, bro. Like whoever your top 5 is your top 5.
Is this a top 5 artists, top 5 rappers, top 5?
All this to you personally. Who's the top 5? Like I need these people. You know what I'm saying? I need their music in my life.
Okay, no order because I'm not gonna kill my I'm not killing my career today. But in no order, It's crazy how it's changed, and I'm gonna get judged for this list, but it's okay. We're gonna go with Frank Ocean.
Okay.
We're gonna go with Kendrick Lamar. I want to touch on that and say Kendrick with a side note. Of course, you'd expect him to be in that list, but I had doubts about. I want to choose my words carefully. I had my doubts about not his longevity, but what was going to happen next with him. But based on what I saw from videos and the energy, I'm confident that he's going to be here for a very, very, very long time. He's nowhere near done. So, yeah, Kendrick, Frank, let's go. Boogie, let's go.
Two more. No pressure.
Shoot. Yeah, no pressure. I'm trying to think. Let's put some new school people in there. Let's go Dende.
Okay.
And then
you gonna throw Isaiah in there?
You said what?
I thought you might throw Isaiah in there. I ain't gonna lie. I thought you might throw.
Yeah, I'll put Isaiah in. His album was one of my favorites of the year. So yeah, that's safe. Yeah, let me put Isaiah. So
it's crazy that you like Isaiah though, because that's one of my favorite artists too.
I'm sorry to correct you. I love Isaiah. His music saved my life. So I used to get that comparison a lot. It's kind of died down now, which I'm happy about because I didn't want to. His music's incredible, so I didn't even want to be compared type thing. But yeah, very, very important. I mean, finding, like I said, Wale, J. Cole, and all of them was cool because they were coming up and it was dope, like growing up on that music. Isaiah was the first artist I found organically that like immediately the music hit in a way that it just didn't hit with it. So yeah, I've always been a fan of his music, always respected his work. So yeah, for sure you can go on that list.
Yeah, no, Sylvia Demo and The Sun's Tirade, two of my favorite projects for sure. Really, the Sun's Tirade, Sylvia Demo, I think is a classic for sure. Like it's not even a doubt in my mind. Sun's Tirade was when I was like broke working at Target, so it's like it hit a little bit different for me.
Timeless music.
But that was the last question I have for you. I feel like your top 5 is actually kind of close to mine. I really fuck with you for stopping by and having this conversation with me, man. Kind of just going over the entirety of the project. If you haven't listened to it, I don't know what you're doing with life. You should have already listened to it already, man. Just make sure I give you all your flowers before we go. So again, super, super talented. Your ear is super amazing, man. I can't wait to hear what's next from you, to be honest.
Got really big shit coming. I got a song coming with Isaac Zale, November 30th. We have a bunch of shows coming out. I'm debating if I'm going to give one more song this year after that. I might not, just because I'm doing a lot this year, but we'll see. And then, of course, the Granny, Lord Have Mercy video as well. So a lot to come.
And before we get out of here, is there any way, because I remember you saying this earlier, is there any way I could get added to this shared folder that you have?
Yeah, I got you. You're actually the first person to do a full-length interview for the project. So people have done reviews and stuff, but not like a full interview. So I appreciate you, Brent. Thank you for your time.
No, man, I thought it was important to do this just because, a lot of you guys are super talented, man. And I feel like it's important to make sure that I understand artist-wise, like where y'all thought process coming from, because y'all are putting together some amazing fucking projects. I honestly wanted to do an interview with Dende as well, because like after hearing like
bro, I can hit him for you. I got you. Yeah, he down the street. I haven't seen him since I've been back because he just did a show in Atlanta. So I'm gonna go over there either tonight or tomorrow. We got some new shit coming. He doesn't even know yet.
No, that's fucking love, bro. But is there
like talent, bro? So I just want to work with talent. There's plenty more people in Houston that I haven't met yet that I'm going to meet. So new flows coming. Be patient, brother. We got you.
Is there anything else you want to let the people know before we get out of here, man?
Everyone who does see this, who watches, thank you so much for supporting and for watching. I hope I didn't bore anybody or talk too much. I just really passionate about music and about what I'm doing. Shout out to the team. Shout out to everyone who's made this possible. Thank you, Maggie and Zona. Diego, I love you. And please keep streaming Nights Before Party 2, Volume 2, if you can, guys, on all streaming platforms.
Without a doubt, bro. Appreciate you, man.
They told me don't need